Hi, everybody. It's Miss Toth here. I'm going to read you the next part of Love That Dog. I thought I'd change it up, so I'm sitting on my couch today instead of at my kitchen table. The story that we're going to read today is Love That Dog. If you started reading it last week with us, you'll remember it's a story about a boy named Jack, and he is writing in his journal and having a conversation with his teacher. But we don't see what his teacher responds. So as you're reading this, what you're doing is you're trying to figure out what the teacher is saying without actually reading what she's saying. So you're doing something called inferring. You're reading between the lines. You are figuring out the story that's missing. Okay, so here we go. When we last left Jack, he was really interested in a poem about the small poems, and he said it reminds him of his dog. December 4th. Why do you want to type up what I wrote about reading the small poems? It's not a poem, is it? I guess you can put it on the board if you want to, but don't put my name on it in case other people think it's not a poem. December 13th. I guess it does look like a poem when you see it typed up like that, but I think maybe it would look better if there was more space between the lines, like how I wrote it the first time. And I like the picture of the yellow dog you put beside it, but that's not how my yellow dog looked. January 10th. I really did not get the pasture poem you read today. I mean, somebody's going out to the pasture to clean the spring and to get the little trottery calf while he's out there, and he isn't going to be gone long, and he wants you? Who is you to come to? I mean, really? And you said that Mr. Robert Frost, who wrote about the pasture, was also the one who wrote about those snowy woods and the miles to go before he sleeps. Well, I think Mr. Robert Frost has a little too much time on his hands. Here's the poem that Jack is talking about by Robert Frost. It's called The Pasture. I'm going out to clean the pasture spring. I'll only stop to rake the leaves away and wait to watch the water clear, I may. I shan't be gone long. You come too. I'm going out to fetch the little calf that's standing by the mother. It's so young it totters when she licks it with her tongue. I shan't be gone long. You come too. January 17th. Remember the wheelbarrow poem you read the first week of school? Maybe the wheelbarrow poet was just making a picture with words, and someone else, like maybe his teacher, typed it up, and then people thought it was a poem because it looked like one typed up like that. And maybe that's the same thing that happened with Mr. Robert Frost. Maybe he was just making pictures with words about the snowy woods and the pasture, and his teacher typed them up, and they looked like poems. So people thought they were poems, like how you did with the blue car things and reading the small poems things on the board. Typed up. They look like poems, and the other kids are looking at them, and they think they really are poems, and they're all saying, who wrote that? January 24th. We were going for a drive, and my father said, won't be gone long, you come too. And so I went, and we drove until we stopped at the red brick building with a sign in blue letters, Animal Protection Shelter. And inside we walked down a long cement path past cages with all kinds of dogs, big and small, fat and skinny. Some of them hiding in the corner, but most of them barking and jumping up against the wired cage as we walked past, as if they were saying, me, choose me, I'm the best one. And that's where we saw the yellow dog standing against the cage with his paws curled around the wire and his long red tongue hanging out and his big black eyes looking a little sad and his long tail wagging, as if he were saying, me, choose me. And we did. We chose him. And in the car he put his head against my chest and wrapped his paws around my arm, as if he were saying, thank you. And the other dogs in the cages get killed dead if nobody chooses them. January 31st. Yes, you can type up what I wrote about my yellow dog, but leave off the part about the other dogs getting killed dead because that's too sad. And don't put my name on it, please. Maybe it would look good on yellow paper. Maybe the title should be You Come To. February 7th. Yes, it looks good on yellow paper, but you forgot again to leave more space between the lines like I did when I wrote it. That's okay, though. February 15th. I like that poem we read today about street music in the city. My street is not in the middle of the city, so it doesn't have that loud music of horns and trucks clash, flash, screech. My street is on the edge of a city. And it has quiet music most of the time. Wisp, meow, swish. My street is a thin one with houses on both sides, and my house is the white one with the red door. There is not much traffic on my street, not like in the middle of a city. We play in the yards and sometimes in the street, but only if a grown-up or the big kids are out there too, and they will shout, "Car!" if they see a car coming down our street. At both ends of our street are yellow signs that say, "Caution, children at play," but sometimes the cars pay no attention and speed down the road as if they are in a big hurry with many miles to go before they sleep. And this is the poem, Street Music by Arnold Adolph. This city, the always noise grinding up from the subways underground, slamming from bus tires and taxi horns and engines of cars and trucks and all vocabularies of clash, flash, screeching, hot metal language combinations as planes overhead roar, an orchestra of rolling drums and battle blasts assaulting my ears with the always noise of this city street music. Make sure you're taking a look at the scan so you can actually see how the font has changed and how there's different spaces between letters and between words to make the sounds stretch or come together. February 21st. That was so great, those poems you showed us where the words make the shape of the thing in that poem that the poem is about, like the one about an apple that was shaped like an apple, and the one about the house that was shaped like a house. My brain was popping when I looked at all those poems. I never knew about a poet person could do that funny kind of thing. And the poem that he's talking about looks like this. It's called The Apple. You take a look at it. See, it starts off with stem, apple, 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 yum, apple, yum, juicy, 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 crunchy, 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 red, yellow, green, apple, 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 yum, delicious, yum, delicious, yum, delicious, yum, 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 wormy, worm, yuck, 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 yum, yum, yummy, yum, wormy, worm, yuck, yuck, yum, yum. You see how it goes? See the worms in the middle? And then it goes apple, 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 juicy, 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 apple. Look on the website. You can make one too. I'm going to send you a link. February 26th. I tried one of those poems that looked like what it's about. And this is what Jack's poem looks like. It's called My Yellow Dog by Jack. You see he's done like a dog shape. Head, head, body, 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 head, head, eye, eye, eye. He's got the nose right there and the sniff, 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 sniff. And the ear that hangs down low and the slobber of the tongue, slobber, slobber, slobber. And take a look at his tail that wag, 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 wags. Leg, 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 paw, 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 paw. I'm going to stop right there because then we're going into March. So make sure that you are following along with the scan that I'm going to put on the website. And we're going to try to make one of those shape poems too. Thanks for listening, everybody.